Hey everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I'm so happy to be here. If you are listening live, it is the 22nd of June at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. If you're listening to an archive or a replay, I also want to welcome you to the show. I want to let you know that we are over in the Facebook chat. You can find that by heading over to 12radio.com. That's number2radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. If you have not joined this week, just, or not this week at all. Wow. Just ask to join and Scott will gladly let you in the room. So that's how to do it. I'm also live streaming this event from YouTube and Facebook. Just look for Domestic Mystic and you'll find me there. So that's what's going on. I'm so excited because it is my birthday giveaway show. My birthday is on Thursday, the 24th. And so this is the show closest. So here we are. We get to celebrate together today. And oh, I've got some cool stuff to give you guys. I've been working hard. I love it. So that's what we're doing today. How's your week gone? I'm hoping it's been a little less tense than last week. It does feel like this week there's a fair amount of really important communication that needs to happen, or really purposeful communication that needs to happen. My best advice this week is do not text or email anything that should really be said in person. This is, I think, going to be really important for a lot of us in having conversations that maybe get misconstrued or misunderstood. And all of you empaths as well, you need to be really careful that you are asking plenty of questions and not making too many assumptions about what you think you are hearing. Because if you do that, you may end up really sorry. So let's not go there. Just, you may have to do the thing you hate to do and actually talk on the phone. Maybe not all of you. I know some of you do not like to talk on the phone. And a lot of empaths are like that. Texting is the greatest thing that ever happened to them. But this week, you need in-person or at least on the phone conversations to make sure you square some things away. So that is how it is looking to me. All righty. Okay, it looks like lots of stuff going on here in the chat room. So happy to see you guys all, and also in the live stream. I want to welcome you guys here as well. It's so much fun to have everybody here. So we do have plenty of ground to cover and things to talk about. So let's start getting into some of that. Let's see. Okay, sorry. Sometimes trying to Facebook and listen is more than I can do all at the same time. Okay, all righty. So looking at both chats, so glad to have you guys here. And yes, I actually do have a show on Thursday with Kelly. That is Read Me, and we're going to do something fun. We haven't decided exactly what yet, but we are working on it, so we'll see. So let's do a couple of our regular things. Let's take a look at Luminous. So Luminous is the magazine that I publish every week with some help from my friends over here in 1-2 World and beyond. I'm going to put a link in both chat rooms, but you can also just find it if you head over to katie-weaver.com and just click on the Luminous magazine button. And there's a little arrow that goes all 4 directions. If you click on that, it'll open it up to the whole page so that it's easier to see. Because otherwise, I think it would be microscopic and probably impossible to read. So let's take a look. I really love this picture for the cover. After I put it up, I realized it has snow-capped mountains, which it's June. Maybe we're not looking at snow, but it just looked it looked like a place I'd like to go, through that arched door, through that portal into maybe somewhere else. I love it. All right. I called the edition this week the Ready to Shine edition because I think we are. We've been in quite the holding period lately. And I know you guys have been feeling it too, talking to so many of you that are feeling so, in such a lack of energy and a place of just not feeling like yourselves. That's been a really big theme recently. And I feel like this is a time for you guys really to and me too, to really get past that and into a place of feeling more like yourself. So, yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about. I feel like we're just in this weird spot right now where, we've been asleep, we've been heavy, we've been out of ideas, and now we're really blossoming again with a lot of light, probably feeling a lot more creative, and hopefully physical energy is on the way back too. Because I know I've not been alone in feeling like I have no physical energy whatsoever. So I'm a little bit confused. I'm hoping you guys are all hearing the current show. I know you are in the live stream. As you guys in the that are listening through One True Radio, can you let me know if you're hearing me tell you that today is the 22nd of June? Some of you are making comments that are making me think maybe you're actually hearing an old show. So I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Because, we want to be. Okay. All right. Well, let's go back to Luminous while we figure it out. I just want to make sure that everybody's here and everybody's hearing me. All right. Okay, my producer says we are good to go. All right, so my musings this week was still just my birthday announcement because, birthdays. All right, let's look at Bitch Scopes. So Bitch Scopes, of course, are written by my dear friend Kelly McLean, and she publishes these on her website in Luminous and over at one2listen.com. So you can find them all over the place. Here's what she says about today. Mercury's going direct. We knew that. And Mercury going direct is kind of it's always an interesting energy. I, for one, am glad. I think this Mercury's been kind of a bitch. I don't know. We try not to just blame everything, all the time on Mercury, but for some reason, well, we get tired of this. And yeah, Mercury's been hard this time, I think. So here's what she says. Mercury basically stops and takes a few days to get going at full speed in a forward direction. The day Mercury stations are typically one of the wonkiest days. Today, Venus squares Eris. Impatience, resentment, feeling left out, and other similar feelings about your intimate relationships, particularly with masculine energy. Watch out for arguments and behave with your money. Behave with your money. You hear that, Scott? Just kidding. He's actually really good with money. I just have to, I have to do that because it's who I am. So let's look at Cancer's bitch scope for the month, since it is now birthday season for Cancers. You have a choice right now. You can choose to be disillusioned and apathetic, or you can get in the race and kick some ass. This is probably a family situation or dynamic that has shifted over time and you don't like it. So get after it and do what you can to help get it corrected. It is important enough to merit discussion, so don't second guess yourself. If this is a work thing, just go after its wild ass, whatever it is. It's like Cancers need to get rowdy. I think we can do it. I'm very willing. I'm all about it. That's awesome. Thank you, Kelly. Be sure that you check out your scope as well. My tip this week is about taking care of the bees and other animals. I mean, here in the US, we're having such a hot streak right now. It's horrifically hot. Where some of you guys live, it's really hot where a lot of us live. And this is an opportunity for us to make sure that we're taking care of the animals. I saw the sweetest post last week about someone in Arizona that looked outside just in time to see a little bobcat stumble into their yard, acting very thirsty and, in distress. And so they turned the hose on, and he drank for a long time from the hose. And then in the muddy patch that the hose left on their lawn, he slept in that cool, muddy place for quite a while. And then he finally got up and moved on. It's a good reminder to all of us that while it is this hot, there are creatures out there that are thirsty, and they're hot too, and they might need some help from us. Even, just your animals, of course, but stray cats and dogs in your neighborhood, raccoons, possums, birds, bees, everybody. So put some water out, if you will. It can just be a bucket. It can be just a bowl on your deck, but help be a solution. But I did the tips specifically for bees because bees need water, and because bees need kind of specific water. If you're putting water out for bees, make sure that it's in a flat, like a pie tin is great, with some rocks in it so that they have something to stand on so that they don't drown. Just perching on the edge of a dish is precarious for them, and, we want to preserve the honeybees in every way we possibly can. So that's a good way. And just clear water, clean water. You don't need to put anything else in it, just water. They need it. Okay. A couple other things. The True Crime Paranormal spotlight this week. As most of you know, I have a podcast with Christy and a video cast over at YouTube and on like every podcast carrier ever. And we have 2 new cases this week. On Monday, we covered the murders of Christina Michelle Jones and Ashley Henley, sisters-in-law that were murdered about 6 months apart in Mississippi. It's a pretty interesting case. I think it's a really interesting case, and really interesting to see how this family has struggled to get law enforcement to take it seriously and really be willing to do anything about it. And, at the end of the day, it cost someone else their life, or maybe it did, but it's an interesting case. And then the case that broke this morning was about this wild thing happening. This is about a kid named Legion or Poe that lived in Slab City, California. He was murdered in Slab City. Now, we actually did a case on him last week with his best friend as our informant, and she knows a lot about him, but she didn't know a lot about about Slab City. So Slab City is this unincorporated town of sorts in California. It's about 40 miles from the Mexico border in Southern California, just way out on the desert. It was actually a military training site during World War II. There's all of these slabs of cement that's just kind of abandoned, and people have taken up there. So some people call it like a squatters community. Some people would look at it maybe as a homeless encampment. Others, see it as an unincorporated town that doesn't really have the same kinds of laws or rent or situations that we have in more mainstream life. And the more we learn about Slab City, the more we're understanding the dynamic. But someone else reached out to us who lived in Slab City and was there the same time that Poe was. That gave us a very different look at Slab City, and they shared a lot of information. So we broke that case or story this morning. Frankly, we're expecting a lot of pushback from hey, we're probably going to make some people mad with this one. And, we wondered if we should really do it. And at the end of the day, we decided to do this one in the most benign way we can so that we don't inflame people, too much, but also tell the truth about what we know, at least from the perspective of our informant. So anyway, really interesting Really interesting stuff there. Lawless indeed. I mean, there is, of course, that land belongs to the state of California, and the actual Slab City itself is in Imperial County, and the sheriff's department does have a presence there daily, and there is a presence there of EMTs very frequently as well, because the people that are living there, they're in a pretty significant amount of danger. So anyway, if you're interested, go check those out. True Crime Paranormal on YouTube and on every podcast carrier you can think of. All right, I'm seeing lots of you guys in both chat rooms. I'm so excited. Thank you for being here. All right, that might be all we need to cover in Luminous. Oh, Anita, the master she brought us this week is Apollo, the Greek sun god, in honor of the summer solstice. And by the way, happy summer solstice. I would normally do a solstice show. You guys know how much I love the summer solstice, but timing just didn't work out this time. So I know others did. Erin did a really good summer solstice show yesterday. So if you are still feeling that summer solstice vibe and you want more info, go find her archive because it was great. But yeah, I hope that you're having a chance to suck some of that up, to soak some of that up, suck it, soak it, whatever. All of the above, I guess. All right, well, let's start looking at some fun stuff. I brought all kinds of things with me today because I'm giving away all kinds of things. I'm just going to show you everything I brought and tell you about it first, and then we can move on from there. If you are in the 1-2 Radio chat room, you'll see that all of the pictures of the things I'm going to show you in the live stream have already been posted so that you can see them. So let's start there. All right. So one of the things I'm giving away today, this is very cool. It's a resin piece. It is an Organite. It's a unicorn horn. So it's full of amethyst in the center, and then it's got silver in the top, and then of course the Organite piece itself. So it's a powerful Organite piece that you could put anywhere in your house that you're trying to block EMFs, like around your modem, even your TV, or you really can. The intention of these is to use them to put your jewelry on, like rings, bracelets, stuff like that, for a holder. So you could use double duty. I just poured it as an Organite because I thought it was cool. But anyway, I love this piece. I think it's really neat. I poured it a while ago and have just not known exactly what to do with it. And today, when I was looking through my stuff and making my final plan, it really jumped out at me. So this unicorn horn Organite. Looking at my stuff, it makes me laugh how often I pour purple. I really love purple, damn it. All right. And then I have a smaller purple. This is the mica powder used for this one is purple copper. You can kind of see the copper sheen in it. It's a smaller unicorn horn, but same purpose. It's a ring holder. So to put next to the sink or, bathroom sink, kitchen sink, dresser, wherever. If you take your rings off and need a place to put them, that's the intention of this little guy. I love the unicorn horns. I made myself a unicorn horn pendulum that sits on my desk. And last week, I broke it. So I've got to fix it. But I just think these are really fun. Okay. And then I have some keychains. These guys are really cool. These are self-defense keychains. And so I have a plague mask. So obviously, these have, keychain clips on them. I just didn't put them on before the show because you know me. I was flying by the seat of my pants. But these are cool. So you keep them on your bag, your purse, your keys, your whatever, and you can use this as a weapon. You could use that to stab at someone or poke at someone if you needed to in the event of an attack. And so that's the idea behind these. is to use them in that aspect. So a lot of the younger girls love these. I think these are awesome. Every girl in my family, well, actually every person in my family got some aspect of these in their stockings this year, particularly the girls, because I really want them to, have them in events of, if they were ever attacked. Now, our girls also all have pepper spray on their bags because their mother does true crime. And so, of course, they do. Bashit, I'm kind of doubting that you're actually hearing me, but I'm seeing you in my chat room. And I would like to ask you to please stop with that. That's not okay. Okay. So two more self-defense keychains. This one is an owl. Isn't that cute? The cool thing about these is they don't look like a weapon. And so most, places wouldn't recognize them as a weapon. Except for Etsy. You cannot call them a self-defense anything on Etsy or they get pulled down. So you can't. You have to use some kind of a little, better descriptor so people can just see what they are. But anyway, I love the owl because it's cute. But also, we practiced on each other on Christmas morning. And, these are right in the ribs. Yeah, they pack a punch. Now, I didn't stab anyone in the eye with them, so I can't tell you. But if you had to, I think you could be effective. And then one more. A purple one, of course. Since that's, apparently the only color I use. I'm kidding. I use a lot of purple, though. I really, I'm ridiculous with it, apparently. Okay. So, Hamsa hands. I'm doing a lot of Hamsa stuff, so I'm going to actually share a little more about the Hamsa with you. But these are little trinket dishes that you could put your jewelry in or whatever. And so there's a gold one, which I actually really, really like. And I know this will come as no surprise. There's a purple one. Yeah, I love these little dishes. They're just perfect to throw some crystals in, to toss your jewelry in, to keep next to your nightstand if you put little things, that you take off at night. They're kind of fun. So I have two of those. But I want to share about the Hamsa hand because you guys probably are familiar with the Hamsa. You've seen it in New Age stuff, I am certain. It's all over the place. But Hamsa is a really, has a really rich history. So some people will look at the Hamsa as a Jewish thing, and it is to some capacity, but it's also quite a few other cultures. So the earliest use of the Hamsa has been traced to Mesopotamia, right? Ancient Mesopotamia. There are artifacts with amulets of the goddess Ishtar or Inanna with the Hamsa hand. It's always the right hand. That's the look, of the Hamsa. It's a hand. Sometimes it has something in the center of it. A lot of times it'll have an eye in the center of it, which represents the evil eye. And the evil eye has a lot of different historical origins too. There, of course, is the evil eye itself, which was a Jewish depiction of, staring down evil. The other part of the eye is the eye of Horus. So there was a belief, in mythology that the eye of Horus, was the all-seeing eye that was basically the conscience you couldn't escape from. And the sun and the moon are considered to be the eye of Horus, but the eye in the hand is a reminder that that eye is always there, always watching. I know. A little creepier aspect of religion that I never liked. It's all whatever. The Hamsa has also been known as the hand of Fatima, after the daughter of Muhammad, the hand of Mary, in some Christianity that uses it, the hand of Miriam, and the hand of the goddess, representing Ishtar or Inanna. Really interesting. It was a important enough visage that 34 years after the end of Islamic rule in Spain, Emperor Charles V actually had a decree to ban the use of the Fatima hand and all amulets were destroyed. Yeah. Always beaten up on history like that. But that's basically one of the representations. I mean, the symbolism of it for me is of strength, is of openness, is of the connection to the goddess and the divine feminine connection. But again, you could connect to the Fatima hand or the Hamsa hand in a lot of different capacities. So you would have to decide exactly what that means for you, because we see it in so many different cultures. Sometimes with cultural aspects or cultural pieces like this, you will hear people asking, accusing people essentially of cultural appropriation by using their symbol or by using their, a piece of their culture or their religion. I've never felt that way about the Hamsa hand because it's a piece of a lot of people's culture and history and religion. And for me personally, the connection to the goddess is what draws me to it. But for others, maybe it is the connection to the Jewish history or to the Islamic history, or maybe even to that Christian faction. To me, the Hamsa hand is in no way cultural appropriation. Now, somebody will say it is, and I'm not, please don't misunderstand me. I am not advocating for cultural appropriation in any facet. But however, I don't believe that using the Hamsa is that thing. So in case you're wondering, that's my opinion on it. And again, someone else will definitely disagree with me because that's how this stuff goes. And that's okay. I'm not mad. It's just, that just seems to kind of be the way it is. So, all right. The next thing I want to share with you, and I can't show it to you in the live stream because it's still cutting, I made the cutest pendulum boards. They're so, oh, they are done. Okay. That says, hold on. I won't show them yet. Yes, please. No, go cut them. Okay. I got ambitious this morning and thought I could cut one more before the show, and it wasn't quite done. So I'll show you something else, and then I'll show you those because I'm so excited about them. Okay, they've been on the, what's the thing? The laser cutter for hours and hours and hours. Okay. Oh, Angela says Indigenous Australians also show hands in their traditional paintings. That's a really good point. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And Sid said the keychain protectors are really practical, intelligent design. They beat the heck out of the stainless steel pointers that I bought. Oh, yeah. I like them. Well, that's because you could carry those pretty much everywhere and nobody's going to tell you can't have it. What? Okay. So probably the biggest, well, I'm going to give you guys two 10-minute readings. So those are probably like the biggest things I'm giving away today, but definitely the second biggest, or maybe it's lateral, is a space clearing kit. I'm super excited about it. So a space clearing kit has a lot of different facets in it. So I've already posted a picture in the chat room, but I'm going to show you guys the pieces one by one. So I'm giving you 3 bundles of sage. These are hand gathered and hand wrapped. This is desert sage. It's not white sage. White sage is being over harvested, and it is now considered a closed practice because Native Americans that use it in their ceremonies need to be able to get it. And if we're using it all up in new agey stuff, well, that's not great. So I always gather desert sage near where I live and dry my own bundles. So I'm going to give you 3 of those. One of them is plain. One of them, I bagged them. One of them is wrapped with rose petals, and one of them is wrapped with lavender. And don't worry, I'll send instructions. And then along with that space clearing kit to use that sage with, of course, a shell, an abalone shell, and a feather. You need it all. So this is a turkey feather with a peacock feather because, well, I love them. And to be honest, if I didn't live where I live, I would have peacocks. I love peacocks. I don't even care that they're loud and they stink. I think they are so funny and cute. I adore them. But where I live, we'd end up with peacocks on the highway, and that would be a disaster. So maybe someday if I ever, end up not living too damn close to the highway, I can have some peacocks. I want to have some guineas too. We had guineas. They were adorable. It was a disaster, but they were so cute and funny. So anyway, pretty much everything I do is going to contain a feather because I just love them. All right, so when you smudge, when you do sage space clearing, you have all of these elements of the elements. So the sage itself connects you to the earth. The smoke from the sage is air. You have fire in your shell. Your shell represents water. And then, of course, you can consider this air or spirit as well. So, thank you. So, that's a part of space clearing. Now, the other parts of this kit, because I did everything in this kit, I'm sending you a little bell. So bells or singing bowls are really helpful in space clearing because they really break up the energy of the space. It is an amazing way. Like, there's certain spots that just get really congested with heavy energy. The bed, under the bed, the utility rooms, sometimes the basement, under, like in drawers, not so much drawers that open and close a lot, but like under cabinets and places that you might not like really be using stuff. There's lots of places that energy just gets really heavily stuck, and using a bell or a singing bowl really helps to break that up. Yeah. Mem says peacocks are incredibly loud. I know, and the males smell terrible too. But I don't even care. I want one. Yeah, that's a good point, Tammy. She said the peacock really has an all-seeing eye. It really does. That's a good insight. Okay, along with the space clearing kit, I'm going to send you a vial of black salt. Salt is awesome to be sprinkled around the periphery of the property. You can do it in the house too, like in the four corners of the property. Sometimes if you live, like in shared space, like an apartment building, you really have to decide, do I want to work out the entire space or do I just want to do my space? So you have to kind of decide what works for you. But anyway, the black salt is amazing for that. And then candles. So candle holders and chime candles. So you get 2 white and 2 black. So we always burn a white candle and a black candle when we do space clearings. Why? The black candles are really key. Black candles really help to gather in and transmute heavier energy and transmute them into the light that's at the top of the candle. White candles just help to invite the light back in. Because remember, when you're doing a space clearing, you are clearing the slate. So once you have done the clearing itself, it's really important to invite back in what you want. And so Christy and I always tell people, when you are doing a space clearing, you want to invite love back in, you want to invite light back in, you want to invite happiness and joy. And we always recommend like turning up music that you love, that helps lift the vibe of your space, and laugh and have fun and do the things in your space that really help to set the tone for how you really want that space to look and feel. So, but burning the candles is a part of that. And don't worry, whoever gets this kit, I promise I will send you some instructions. If you've not done this before, you might not know what we're talking about. All right. You get a pendulum. So the pendulum is a really awesome tool. I was going to say cool, and then I was going to say neat, and then I said awesome. So it's clawsome. So why? Well, pendulums are amazing in space clearing because they help you know that the deal is done. So you use them when you're done. When all of the clearing work is done, stand in the middle of your space, hold your pendulum out, and ask, is this home completely clear? And then let it spin. Now, obviously, you have to already have determined what your yes and no are. So if you don't know how to use a pendulum, you're going to have to learn a little bit about that first, or that might not, do much for you. But pendulums are easy. And once you've learned what your yes and your no is, then that's easy to do. So that then you ask, is this space clear? And if you're getting a strong yes, great. If you're getting a no, then go room by room. Is this space clear? And it'll help you to pinpoint what still needs some work, what still needs some energy. I will tell you that Christy and I's experience is that the master bed is a real culprit. And you might light your sage back up and smudge it again and ring your bell all over it and try again, because those are the spaces that tend to hold the most like stagnant, stuck stuff. So, oh, Deb says, should the candles be fragrance-free for the clearing? They don't have to be. No, you can burn them at the same time, Pamela. I always do. Yeah. Yeah, they don't have to be fragrance-free. If you like fragrant candles, that's totally fine. No worries there. All right, so anyway, pendulum. By the way, these pendulums are just cool. I didn't buy them for this purpose, but they came to me like this. So they're ones that open up so that you can put something inside of it. So you could put a little teeny crystal in here. You could put a little dirt or sand in here from a sacred place. You could put a little herb in here if you wanted to, whatever. But I always think these are cool. I actually have clients who put ashes in them as well. So that would be entirely your choice. All right, the last thing that comes with the space clearing kit is a bottle of rose hydrosol. So what is rose hydrosol? Well, rose hydrosol is the product of making rose oil. So when they distill rose oil, or most essential oils, it's a steam distillation process. And as they steam the plant, two things come off of it, the water and the oil. And the water is the hydrosol. It smells like the product. It feels like the product. It's not as condensed, and intense as the oil is. But hydrosol is an awesome thing. So this is rose hydrosol, and we use it in space clearing. When we're all done, we go back through and spray the whole space out with rose hydrosol, because it helps to invite angels back in, guides back in, higher vibrations back in. It's just a really powerful way to help set the stage for the space that you want. So that's what it's there for. So the space clearing kit, that's awesome. Okay, Scott is an angel and just went and cut these for me. Yeah, rose oil is outrageously expensive. And so most people do not have a bottle of rose oil. If you want it, though, go to Jade Bloom, because they have the best price on it. However, if you, sorry, had to drink. If you, if you just, want it for a process like this, just buy Hydrosol. Okay, so these are the pendulum boards. I did put a picture in the chat room with these. So also a ham's a hand. I don't know why that turned into the theme, but it did. So I designed these last week and cut them yesterday and this morning because they took a really long time, but I digress. So you're going to get a pendulum board and a wooden pendulum to go with. So I'm giving away 2 of these. So the way you use pendulum boards is that you ask your question and then you move really carefully around the board to where your pendulum starts to swing. So you'll see on the board there is a yes and a no, pretty basic. Then there's rephrase, and then there's unknown. Sometimes the pendulum doesn't know. And sometimes when the pendulum doesn't know, it'll just bounce and never really spin. But this gives you an opportunity to really nail that down. Okay. Unknown can also mean you don't get to know. That's never an answer we want, right? We're like, I do get to know and I will know. Sometimes maybe you don't. But then rephrase. Sometimes the question just isn't a good question. Sometimes you need to back it up and maybe get more basic. Like maybe you'll say, is my job safe? Maybe the pendulum would say rephrase. Why? Well, is it safe now? Is it safe in 5 years? Is it safe forever? What does that mean? Narrow it down. Is my job safe for the next 6 months? Yes? Okay. Is my job safe for the next 10 years? No? Okay. It gives you an opportunity to re-look at your question, and you'd be surprised how often the pendulum will ask you to rephrase. You have to get really good at asking the right question. So anyway, I love these. I'm excited. I'm actually going to cut one from my wall. I think they turned out so pretty. But so that's it. And then oh gosh, I'm always just distracted. Okay, sorry. I got to close a window here. I'm getting distracted. 2 readings with me, 2 10-minute readings with me over at 1-2-Listen. So that's everything we're giving away for the birthday giveaway show. And that's a pretty good synopsis into why I love all that stuff. So, and Sid, thank you. Or not Sid, sorry. I'll thank you too. But Lillian had asked me last week what you guys could do for me for my birthday. And I had said that I would just love you guys to just be kind, to spread kindness and, spread an random act of kindness and maybe help somebody that you normally wouldn't. Because one of the things we need to do is stop being so choosy about who we see ourselves resonating with. That is a real problem in our society right now. And so I would love to challenge you all, and me too, to show a kindness to somebody that we would normally turn our back on, if there is someone. Years and years and years ago, I worked in early childhood. That's one of my degrees is early childhood education. And I directed a center on a college campus for years. And in that center, the staff were mainly college students from that local college. And that college is very anti-smoking. And like you cannot smoke and be a part of that church, really. And or not be in good standing. And so it leads to some judgment of others. And there was a baby in our care who smelled strongly of cigarette smoke. And like that or don't, I'm sure you don't, that was his situation. Obviously mom was smoking probably in the car with him and definitely in the house with him. And eventually his pediatrician made her stop because he had asthma. But at any rate, it doesn't matter. What matters to me is that he was in our care. But what I encountered is that some of my staff didn't want to take care of this baby. You guys, he was 3 months old. He was a newborn and he was precious. His name was Kelly and he was cute as hell. But they didn't like holding him. And so finally I asked, what is the deal with Kelly? Why are you guys so weird with him? And they said, well, when we hold him, then we go home smelling like cigarette smoke. And that's not good for us. And I went, oh, okay, got it. So they actually had asked permission to change him into different clothing, or if they could change his blankets or what they could do. And I was kind of uncomfortable with that too, because I wasn't sure how his mom would take that. What did happen is one of the toddler teachers had no problem with the cigarette smoke and was actually pretty angry at these girls for the way they were treating a 3-month-old. And Kelly ended up in the toddler classroom with a teacher who wanted to love him. The point of it is, one of the sayings in early childhood is that the child that you want to love the least is the child that needs your love the most. And I think that that's a really good synopsis for our whole society. The person that you see that you want to give your kindness to the least may very well be the person who needs it the most today. The, dour lady that's marching through the store looking like she could go, full Karen on somebody at any moment. You do not know what's going on in her life. She could have just gotten the worst news ever. She could be ill. She could be a caregiver that's just running to the store to get a few things to go back home to her own personal hell. You don't know. And for that reason, I think that we just have to step out of our comfort zones and be very willing. There have been stories on both sides of the aisle of people needing, having a flat tire and having people come by and refuse to help them because of their bumper stickers or things of that nature. We've got to knock that shit off. And so that's my thought this year on my birthday is let's all do a better job. Me included, please. Me included. But let's just do a better job of just being kind and not assessing people and their situation and who we think they are to decide if they get to have our kindness or our help or our spirit. It's a mistake. I don't know if it's a mistake. Well, it is, but I mean, it's something that the world has fed us the last few years, that this is okay to act that way. And it's not okay to act that way. We got to get over ourselves. Yep. All right. Well, we have got to get to drawing here or we're never going to get to it. So Scott has been getting you guys all into a generator here. If you are in either chat room or all three of them, then you are a part of this. Okay, so Scott, I'm going to ask if you're ready. Are you ready? Okay, so I'm just going to pull up. We have a document we're sharing together, and I will tell you who he is choosing. All right, so we're going first with self-defense keychains. So that's all of these guys, if you were in the chat and you remember. All righty. So, all right, just looking for his note. All right. So I'm seeing Shalisa. I'm seeing Laurie. And I am seeing Jessica M. Okay. All right. So here's the deal, guys. What I need you guys to do is to reach out to Scott or me with your address, because I can't send you something if I don't have your address. Okay. Pendulum boards and pendulums. There are two. All right, so he's getting those posted for me as we speak. Okay. All right. Taking a look. So I have Angela S. I'll always be careful to not say you guys' full names on the air. If I do it, it's a huge oversight because that's not okay, in my opinion. I chose to put my whole name out here. You guys did not. So I would not do that. And I have Tammy K. All right, so Tammy and Angela, you guys won the pendulum boards and pendulum. Okay. The unicorn horn, so let's pull the big one first. Okay, so this is the big one. All right. Okay. And then we have the little one. I'm going to give him a heads up that we have the little one too, right here. All right. I love these. I'm not going to tell you what my kids said these look like. And if you had that thought, it's fine. I don't hate you, but this was the thought. All right. So I'm sorry. I hope, I know it's inappropriate. It is very inappropriate. Maybe it's not. Maybe you're not even hearing what I'm saying about it. But my kids have been very offensive about these. That's what I'll tell you. Okay. All right. So these are going to go. So he's got the big one. Sorry, you guys. We have a process here that's actually a little bit slow. All right. The big one is going to Lillian. And the small one is going to Tiffany. Tiffany R. Okay. And we'll keep on rolling here. Okay. The hands, the dishes. We have the purple and we have the gold. So let's see. Let me get to my notes here. Okay, so on the hamster dishes. All right. We're going to give Scott just a minute here to catch up. Poor guy. I'm sure he really loves my birthday giveaway show. Why not? He has to sort this all out for me. All right. Okay, so the gold dish is going to Kylie. And the purple dish is going to Cammie. Okay, the space clearing kit. Forgive me if I don't hold the entire thing up again, but I will. I'll take some of the key pieces. All right. Okay. Really, really love the space clearing kit. I'm so excited about it. These were, by the way, if you're wondering, this is what we were putting in the boxes, you know, like Scott was making, and I haven't been able to get boxes out of him recently because it's just, well, he's too busy. But at any rate, that's what they were for. But I still have lots of them, and we'll make more boxes too. We've just, you know, we have a lot going on all the time. These freaking kids, you guys. These freaking kids. All right. So the space clearing kit is going to Elizabeth D. Elizabeth MCD. How's that? Elizabeth, you won the space clearing kit. All right. And lastly, 2 10-minute readings with me over at 1-2 Listen. All righty. So the first 10-minute reading over at 1-2 Listen is going to Maureen. Maureen, I'm so excited. Now I get to talk to you about, you know, being done with that goddamn job. I know. I'm actually really excited. Okay. And the second reading is going to Maya. So Maya and Maureen, if you guys will just reach out to me when you are ready, because I'm going to send you those minutes over and they're good for 7 days. And so all you guys have to do is just reach out and let me know when you're ready and I'll send them to you. So easy enough. So Maya and Maureen. All right, you guys, we did it. We talked down to the end of the show. Our timing was perfect for once. And we're done. So thank you all so much for being here with me. Thanks for celebrating. If you won something, please make sure you reach out with your address so that I can get it right in the mail to you. It's always my goal to get them out in a couple of days so they're not, you know, hanging over my head, making me crazy. So that's the plan. All righty, you guys. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you back here on Tuesday or on Thursday for Read Me with Katie and Kelly at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Until then, be good to each other. Be good to yourselves. Just live your best life, right? That's what we're all trying to do. All righty. You've been listening to The Katie Weaver Show here on 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.